Picture this. You are standing in a room. Maybe it's a meeting. Maybe it's a group of friends. Maybe it's a casual conversation that felt fine just moments ago. Then someone turns to you, points directly at you, and says, "Honestly, nobody here really takes you seriously anyway." The room goes quiet. Every eye shifts toward you. Some people look uncomfortable. Others are simply waiting to see how you'll respond. For a second, your mind goes blank. You feel the sting before you can think. The shock of being caught off guard and suddenly made smaller in front of everyone. What happens in the next 10 seconds determines how people will treat you for months. That moment is what this video is about. Because what you do in the next 5 to 10 seconds will either reward that behavior or make sure it never happens again. When someone disrespects you, they are not defining your worth. They are running a test to see whether crossing your boundaries comes at any social cost. Most people react in one of two ways. They become defensive and emotional, proving the attack worked. Or they laugh it off and absorb the hit, signaling that the behavior is acceptable. Neither response gives you your power back. What does? That's exactly what we're getting into. Not with aggression, not with drama, with something that actually works, and the psychology behind it. The first move, controlled stillness. Here is why this matters psychologically. When someone disrespects you, they expect a reaction. That's what gives the insult its power. They want the flinch, the nervous laugh, or the rushed attempt to smooth things over. Your reaction is the reward. It tells them their move worked. But when you stay still, holding eye contact, keeping a neutral expression, and allowing a moment of silence, you take that reward away. The comment has nowhere to land. Instead, the silence draws attention to their behavior, not yours. Many people become uncomfortable, backtrack, or try to explain themselves because your calm shifts the pressure onto them. Research on emotional regulation supports this. A deliberate pause interrupts the fight or flight response, giving your rational mind time to take over. Stillness isn't weakness. It's one of the fastest ways to regain control of both yourself and the situation. 3 moves that actually work. Once you've mastered stillness, you have a choice, because staying calm is only the first step. What you do next determines whether the disrespect loses its power or quietly becomes a pattern. These 3 responses consistently shift the dynamic without raising your voice, creating drama, or compromising your dignity. Move 1. Make them repeat it. In a calm, even tone, simply say, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you say it again?" The key is that everyone, including them, knows you heard every word. You're not asking because you missed it. You're asking because you're inviting them to say it again, deliberately, with the entire room listening. Disrespect thrives on momentum. It lands quickly, gets a reaction, maybe even a laugh, and disappears before anyone has time to think about what was actually said. When you ask them to repeat it, you interrupt that momentum. Suddenly, the room slows down. Saying something cruel in a heated moment is easy. Repeating it into a suddenly quiet room, with everyone paying attention, takes a kind of confidence most people simply do not have. So they shrink. They mumble. They say, "Never mind." And that puts you on higher ground, without you uttering a single word of your own. Move 2. Question the behavior, not the content. This is where most people make a mistake. They defend themselves against the words, but the words aren't the real issue. The behavior is. So instead of explaining yourself or proving them wrong, step completely outside the emotional frame. Tilt your head slightly. Keep your voice relaxed. Then ask something like, Are you looking for a reaction right now? Or, what made you think that was a good thing to say out loud? Notice what you're doing. You're not arguing, insulting, or defending yourself. You're calmly inviting them to explain their behavior. That shifts the pressure onto them. The room stops judging you and starts judging them. People rarely remember the words. They remember who stayed calm and kept emotional control. Move 3. Delete them from the conversation. This one is for when someone is not worth your breath. When they make their comment, give them the briefest look. Not anger, not amusement. Just a faint glance of someone watching something mildly predictable. Then turn your body towards someone else and ask them a completely unrelated question. Anyway, how did that project turn out? You are not storming off. You are not making a scene. You are communicating to everyone in the room, calmly and without announcement, that what was just said did not even clear the bar for a response. That is a verdict. After the moment here is where most people give back everything they just earned. They handle the moment correctly. They stay calm, use one of these moves, the room notices, the other person backs down, and then 20 minutes later, everything returns to normal. And that person quietly learns there are no lasting consequences. Don't let that happen. The moment someone disrespects you, the relationship shifts. Not with a speech or dramatic announcement, but it shifts. Your behavior afterward is what makes that real. You become slightly less available. Not hostile, not cold, just less warm. The casual conversation you would have had doesn't happen. The energy you once gave that relationship goes elsewhere. They will notice. And they'll understand something you never had to say. What happened mattered. And there was a price. The long game. Every time you handle disrespect with stillness, precision, and follow-through, you strengthen your reputation. People begin to see you as someone with clear boundaries and standards that aren't easily tested. Over time, they start to self-correct. They choose their words more carefully because they know where your line is. That isn't fear. It's respect. Real respect is not demanded, defended, or explained. It is simply understood. Once you reach that point, you'll realize you never had to fight for it. If someone came to mind while watching this, send them this video. No explanation needed. They'll know why. And if you've experienced a moment like this yourself, share it in the comments. The best insights don't come from textbooks. They come from people who have lived it. The real takeaway. Let's go back to that room. The finger pointed at you. The words hanging in the air. Every eye turning your way. It felt like an attack. But it was really a question. A question about how much you value yourself. Whether your dignity is negotiable. Whether that person would ever think twice before trying again. When you truly understand that, not just in your mind, but in the calm way you hold eye contact and allow silence, you stop being someone who gets tested. Your standards are clear. There is nothing to gain by crossing them. That isn't armor or coldness. It's what happens when you've quietly decided what you're worth, and live by that decision in every room, every day. The person who pointed at you came looking for something to take. They found nothing. You walked out the same person who walked in, except now you know exactly who that person is. That quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need to defend or prove itself, is what we're really building here. Milk and honey for your soul.